Welcome back to tonight's final segment of the KASS Spotlight. If you have just joined us, you've missed a huge chunk, but hey, welcome to this other side. We are talking with Mr. Javas Bigambo. He's a political analyst. We're discussing matters politics, the week that was, and discussing about various issues. We have talked about the teachers, we have talked about the murder in Nairobi, we have discussed about the issue of Narok County, and right now we just want to move on. And Javas, let me ask. There was this index that came out from the World Bank no less, about how our performance, the governors are performing in terms of how much money they use on development in their constituencies. We had guys who are using 43% on development, actually up there, Wajir, Turkana. We had guys down 1%, Mombasa. And when you look at the index that they brought out, it's very surprising. You have Wajir, you've got Turkana at the top, you've got Kisii is doing very well, you've got Trans Nzoia doing quite okay, you've got Bomet, yes, Machakos. Bomet had to do okay, you know, the guy is very vocal, so you cannot just say pesa mashinani and then, but then we've got the bottom chaps, and the bottom chaps are big towns, Nakuru, Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret, as in through Uasin Gishu County. Is this reflective of the real scenario? Or do the big towns have nothing to develop?
Let us interrogate that report by the World Bank. Distinguished body as it is. Very good report, if you look at it. But what really did that research or analysis interrogate? One, they looked at the allocation from the national government to the county governments. They looked at the money that has been used on development by these county governments. They looked at the balances in the bank by this county government.
Right. And
then came up to an interesting conclusion about the development indices or performance indices by this county governments. But it's important to also ask ourselves some very interesting questions. One, did the World Bank look at the amount that has been committed by these county governments on development, that possibly contracts have been awarded, but work is ongoing and it has not been paid by these county governments? Has it looked at the amount that has been committed by these county governments in that financial year? Did the World Bank research and analysis look at, for example, the development plans for these county governments within or to the close of the financial year when that money is expected to be expended by these county governments? And see from the plans that they have, whatever has been rolled out or what is going to be rolled out within the financial year, and whether it also will affect the finances and the balances that these county governments have in the bank. If it did not, as it actually did not, then it brings the necessity and the weight of that report into question. Because, look at it this way. When you give a county 1%, as they did, when you give a couple of, and actually all the bottom 10 counties, as the report alleges, they're huge counties.
8%.
They're actually counties that hold the backbone of this country's economy.
Yes, they are.
From Mombasa to Uasin Gishu to Narok and the like. The question is, what, and have they looked at even the strategic development plans of these county governments in respect to the commitments within the financial year?
Yeah.
Did the analysts and the researchers of the World Bank go or visit each county to see what development projects
so you're saying
have been rolled out?
This report, according to you, was half-baked?
It is an armchair report. It's an armchair report that does not
and not reflective of the issues as they are on the ground.
It is not a field research report. It's an armchair report. If at all they would have gone to all these counties, and maybe in the report indicate that looking at the development, some counties have got only maram roads, earth roads have been grading, some have been tamaking roads, then now bring out a critical report. Otherwise,
governors are loving hearing this, especially the ones rated at the bottom.
As a matter of fact, I'm sure that all these governments have got development plans that have been rolled out.
Right.
They have given allocations to each ward in millions of shillings.
Surely they can't be doing, when I was looking at 1% went to development. 1%.
That is the challenge of an armchair report.
Where you have, then you almost have to weigh that with almost 50% that is actually used to pay salaries and all that and all that. And you think,
and
who is that who can do 1%?
Yes.
Do they really want to come back?
Yes, that is one.
You know.
Secondly, when an institution such as the World Bank unveils such a report, it must not stop at the unveiling of the report. If its interest is development of county governments, as it seems, then this World Bank should also offer remedy. Bring out some of the challenges that these county governments could be facing that has stopped them from using or utilizing more than 50% of the development funds.
I hear you.
And also see how to provide pointers to all these county governments and see how they can
So
move
it should have been a very educative report,
Yes.
very detailed.
Yes.
Maybe they'll say they gave those details to the governors
No.
at individual levels.
It's not no governors received that. They would have spoken
and
out. It's important that the World Bank also stops shouting from the rooftop. It should come out if at all its interest.
Washuke chini kwa ground.
Yes. But mounting the high horse and just a question of now showing performing indices for these top governors, these bottom governors. I mean, who appointed the World Bank as a prefect in the performance of
Moving on forward, though, let me ask, do you think this hurts the governors?
Politically, it does, especially if somebody does not want to critically look at
Is
that
it a
World
big
Bank
enough
report.
blow to be remembered?
It's not a big enough blow. How many research reports have come out condemning various leaders and it's been forgotten over a short time? Remember too that, yes, remember too that Kenya is not a reading country as it's been alleged. How many people will pour themselves or will pour over those reports and analyze every aspect?
For some people, it's enough that the Nation headline is there.
That is enough. And seeing the faces of those leaders.
Yeah.
And that ends there. How many people have interrogated that report? Less than 2%, if you ask me. And how many reports are gathering dust on the shelves of various government offices and policy institutions in this country?
So it will blow over.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying that the World Bank report should not end at giving just a verdict, condemnation, ringing the bell that this is what has happened.
I hear you.
Show a way forward.
All right. By-elections. Homa Bay.
Yes.
Our friend Moses Kajwang seems to be firmly in the lead, if it is to be believed by the number of people we are seeing attending his rallies. But there has been an incident where he was injured, and now reports are coming out to say that it was not true.
First of all, the contestant, Moses Kajwang, has inherited a very rich estate of a political name from his late brother. The Kajwang name, who is the former senator.
Yes.
And he's riding on that wave, largely with the support, which is actually the political and righteous wind of his campaign, of Raila Odinga.
Yes.
Who actually did not give the electorate the right of choice. He endorsed. Which means that the campaign already from the start was skewed in favor of Kajwang, because all the ODM or CORD loyalists will have to line up on the side of Baba and Baba's endorsement. And that is the kind of unfair ground that now is playing out in Homa Bay. That is what is likely to give, or what has given Moses Kajwang possibly a head start in this thing. But look at now the ping pong, the games that are going on in the entire campaign, the machinations. Now, when a medic, an authoritative voice, a professional, comes out clearly to indicate that I was being coerced and that actually all the injuries that were purported were faked, then also we need to ask ourselves, what kind of leaders are we having today? Leaders who want, for example, if actually the report by that medic is true, as he has indicated.
Was he looking for public sympathy? Why would he do that?
Why is it that you want now to enter into office through the back door, riding on the wave of sympathy and empathy of the people?
Sympathy was already there. His brother had died.
Yes.
Surely.
And that's why we are seeing that the quality of leadership in this country is quite wanting.
Yeah. But do you think, Javas, do you think that time has come where the electorate has wisened up to look at issues rather than parties and ways?
The electorate
because
hasn't.
I had Raila Odinga say the other day, telling people that, if you loved Kajwang and you loved Fidel, then vote for Moses Kajwang. And I thought, oh, it's playing with people's emotions. Can they see through that?
And
sift and say,
that is how we have skinned our politics in this country. If you ask me, the person in the name and stature of Raila Odinga should not be using such gimmicks to win popular support for his preferred candidate. Because right now, looking at the constitution, looking at the kind of leadership required in the Senate, one should not be talking about his late son and the late senator who was there before. The person and stature of Raila Odinga should be looking at the policies of leadership that a senator is going to provide when you vote for this kind of person.
Right.
Especially looking at the dynamics of devolved government in Homa Bay County. But Raila Odinga has not mentioned a single day about the issues that the senator will address once he is voted in. And that's where we fail as a nation. That's where the leadership of even a political party fails. That's where even the quality of leadership gets compromised. Because you now harp at the string of emotion and not integrity and service delivery. And that's where the people of Homa Bay County are going to be shortchanged in the end in terms of service delivery. When even that candidate, for example, has now had to fake ailments and injuries so as to ride on the back of sympathy.
Bottom line though, does he win?
He may win just because an empty drum sounded the highest in the village.
What happens if he loses?
If he loses, then this is likely to be the situation. The ego and the name of Raila Odinga will hit the rock bottom. His political opponents will now sing that song, and it will be preserved in song and poetry that he was defeated.
Our Baba was failed.
Yes, in his backyard. And that's why Raila Odinga is harping at every string to make sure Kajwang wins. Because now the other candidates, especially the other strong candidate, is being labeled, an emissary.
A project.
A project of the foreigners, and the foreigners here being the Jubilee
the Jap
government.
Yes.
And I think that's not where we should be looking at. That should not be the issue at interrogation in a by-election. It should be the issues that those leaders will provide in terms of service. The other thing is this.
Yes.
If he fails, then the culture of endorsements by the big shots also will come into question. Because this was a clear direct endorsement. And also the politics of favoritism will also come into question.
So maybe he should fail, then we can have a new start.
Maybe it will be a rebirth of political growth and integrity in this country.
Maybe.
And maybe the gods should grant that.
We have run out of time, honestly, but a quick comment about Kajiado.
Kajiado, we are seeing so much happening. We have seen that there is a candidate in the name of Memusi who is now in code, who has been skating on
the grasshopper, really. He has been everywhere.
And skating on thin ice.
He's in code now.
Yes.
He was in Jubilee the other day.
He was in Jubilee, and before Jubilee, he was in KNC. So this candidate has been skating on thin ice, knowing that when he stands firm, then he'll sink.
He'll sink.
Well, that's what he's doing. Now look at the kind of the cry that the ODM Secretary General let out the other day, that the government is using state resources to campaign for Tuitui, who is the Jubilee candidate. But I think also having had CS in Kaiseri from CODE, specifically ODM,
right,
and now a CS in cabinet, which means on the side of government, it provides a very interesting arithmetic, especially for CODE. Who should the CS provide support for or endorse silently, politically? Because there are those who are admirers and enthusiasts of the CS. And if he says this direction or he points to this direction, he'll follow. Whichever way, he may not do it.
But he has said he's removed himself from that matter. He's not really.
Of course, he will do that. But as a matter of fact, we know that there are people who are closer to him.
Behind the scenes, yes.
So it provides a very critical arithmetic in this Kajiado Central by-election. And it is a very close race. It is too close actually to call. When you look at the ground, because that seat was initially captured by ODM, but also CODE with its, I mean, the Jubilee with its political machinery has moved in with so much strength.
Yes.
It is going to be a titanic battle. Because as a matter of fact, each wants to show might politically in Kajiado Central.
We leave it there. A titanic battle indeed. We'll be talking more about this in the weeks to come, and I really want to appreciate your coming here today.
Thank you.
If you have been listening to the program, this has been the KASS Spotlight, discussing political issues of the week. Look forward to seeing us again here next Monday, same time, political issues. Mr. Javas Bigambo, thank you.
Asante sana.
Have a good night.
Cheers. Great.
And you sleep well.